Hello, welcome back to CinemaBurger, where I bring you movie reviews from a different perspective. We continue the 2020 movie catch-up with the disaster movie Greenland, starring Gerard Butler, Morena Baccarin, and Scott Glenn. Now, the movie is directed by Rick Roman Woe, who directed Angel Has Fallen and will be directing the fourth movie with Gerard Butler, Night Has Fallen. So this is a disaster movie. A newly discovered comet is coming toward Earth, and bigger fragments of it are going to hit Earth, or have started already, and it causes planet-killing events. So it's about this family trying to get to safety in time. Now, disaster movies have a lot of cliches that Greenland fits some of the check marks next to. The main character was married, is now divorced, or separated from his wife and child, and by the end of the movie they'll get back together. There's a journey along the way that they have to go through. There's a lot of outrageous characters along the way. This doesn't have that many. Actually, this movie feels very grounded because it really stays a smaller scale. It's about the family trying to get back together. When they find out that bigger pieces of the comet, are falling, some people get alerts on their phone saying this is from the Homeland Security, go to this location, you've been selected with your family. So Gerard Butler and his wife and child go. Now the child has diabetes, which will come into play later, so he needs insulin. So as they're going to the location, they get to the front, they get a barcode that the military scans, and they get this bracelet and they're allowed into the military installation. Now, surprisingly, this is held maintained very well because other people are trying to get in, but the crowd control is pretty good actually for what's going on. Of course, the government was hiding some stuff because they're evacuating certain people to go to this place in Greenland. They have C-137 planes ready to go to Greenland with a certain amount of people on each one. Now, when Gerard Butler gets the alert, they're at a party for the son. Now the neighbors are like, what's going on? Why didn't I get an alert? Which causes people to panic. Now, as their family is driving away, one of the neighbors bangs on the window of their car and kind of yells at them, but then apologizes because they're just scared and confused, which I was surprised because usually in disaster movies people act irrationally and over the top, but there is some level of restraint and control, which I find very interesting. Now, when they get toward the plane, the dad realizes they forgot the insulin in the car, so the dad goes back. Now, when they scan the wife and the son's code, they realize that the son has an illness, and they won't let him on the plane because apparently no one with diseases was supposed to be, pre-chosen. Because I guess they didn't want sick people, because this is going to be a planet-killing event. And when the wife asked the military person, come on, why not? What about your family? It's my family wasn't even chosen. Military people weren't chosen. So it's just okay, she's doing, her job. Saying, oh, come on, can't you just do it? Won't help. Now, because of this, Gerard Butler gets separated from the wife and child, so they have to meet somewhere. They say they're going to meet at the wife's dad's house. So while they're on the way, they get picked up by this couple who help them get somewhere, and the couple basically ask about the bracelets and stuff because they know about the bracelet system and things like that, so they're going to steal the bracelet to get on the plane with the child. So they steal the wife's bracelet, but the wife said, the kid was sick, they're not going to let him on, they're not going to let you on. So they kick the wife out of the car, take the son and the bracelet, and keep going. Now back with Gerard Butler, he's trying to find the wife and kid, and he gets on a plane, but as that's happening, protesters outside storm the building and try to get onto the plane. The military comes out and starts shooting, and as they're fueling a plane, they drop the gas line, so that causes an explosion. All the planes explode. Now the wife sees this from far away outside the military base, so this was before they got kidnapped and stuff. So now all three people are separated and they have to get back to each other. Now, Gerard Butler also gets on a truck heading toward the father's-in-law's house, and people on this truck see his bracelet too, and they try to take it from him. But he says it's like, you need the barcode. It's like, they sent me my name. Like, you can't just take your bracelet and it's not going to work. But they don't listen. The truck crashes, and Gerard Butler has to fight for his life. He ends up hitting some guy in the head with an axe, and he escapes. But both times that random people try to steal the bracelets or attempt to get onto the planes, the main characters say, like, it's not going to work, because either they didn't let my son on the first time because he was sick, or the bracelets are like name coded, so you're not going to be able to get on. And both times the plan backfires for those two groups of people that try to steal the bracelets. So there is kind of like stupidity in this. I guess people are panicked, but still. And then there's other times when random citizens actually help and are kind, like when the mom's trying to get insulin for the son, they go into a drugstore that's already been raided, people with guns come in, and one guy like lets the wife and son out because she's like, I have a 7-year-old kid, like, please let me go, and they do. Now, one of the biggest problems of this movie is there's a lot of scenes filmed at night, which normally would be fine, but it's like so almost pitch black you can't see what's going on half the time, and about, I'm going to say, a little less than half the movie is like this, which is one of its biggest problems in my opinion. Because there's such a difference between the daytime and the nighttime in this movie, and I don't know why they chose to film so much stuff at night. Now later on, the family gets reunited again, and they prepare to go to Greenland. Now at one point, Gerard Butler gets somewhere and there's like an apocalypse party happening, which at first you think, oh, that would never happen, but based on how people are reacting to COVID and still holding parties, that actually would be pretty accurate, honestly. It's like a party before the end of the world. As a bigger piece of comet hits the Earth, people like cheer and scream, and then as they run away, they die, but I believe that's what would happen if a comet hit the Earth in 2021. So they get to the father's house, and they prepare to go to Greenland. All three of them get on this plane, they end up in Greenland, and they make it to the bunker in time. Now, at this point, there's like maybe 10 minutes left in the movie. The bigger piece of the comet is going to hit, and the son is like, wait, my life, nothing flashed before my eyes before I die, and like, this is a very dark thing for a 7-year-old to say. I mean, I know they think that, like, this is a situation, it makes sense, but still. So as they prepare for the impact, flashes of the family together and the son growing up flash before their eyes. You think everyone's going to die. And then Greenland starts recording, like, anyone out there, they see images of all over the world, like, it looks like nuclear fallout, but it's not because it's just from the comet. And apparently it's been 8 months since they've been in this bunker, and other areas in the world are starting to communicate, so the people in the bunkers have survived. And you see a shot of Earth with all the comet craters, so people survived and they can rebuild. But, I mean, basically, like, everything is in ruins. Like, you're gonna have to start again from, like horse and buggy era or something. Like, what are you gonna do? Like, how you gonna rebuild crops and things like that, but that's not shown in this movie. So overall, Greenland was a more grounded disaster movie. It didn't have as many of the cliches that disaster movies have, except, of course, the main protagonist being separated from his wife or so, and they get back together at the end. Now, before they think they're going to die, they talk about, like, you want to be with the ones you love, but I'm like, if this situation didn't happen, you wouldn't be together, because earlier in the movie, Gerard Butler goes to the house for the son's birthday, and things are awkward between him and the wife, ex-wife, or separated. So, that's just situational things happening, but overall the movie keeps it on a smaller scale, and it's about a family trying to get reunited and get to safety. Now, I'd have to give this, I guess, a 3 out of 5 burgers. It's worth a watch if you're sick of the cliche disaster movies. But like I said, the stuff that's filmed at night is too dark to see, really, and I don't know why they chose to do that. And I feel like the thing with disaster movies is they come in waves and they go. They came in like the 50s a lot, but it was more with like aliens and creatures from another world representing communism. Then in the 70s there was more disaster movies like Poseidon Adventure, Towering Inferno, things like that. They went away again. They came back in the 90s with like Deep Impact, Armageddon, and among some other ones. Then they disappeared. They came back in like the mid 2000s, Day After Tomorrow, 2012, uh, Perfect Storm, things like that. San Andreas, Geostorm. So the disaster film genre as a whole keeps coming and going when they get oversaturated in Hollywood. I feel like this one was one of the better ones, but also it will be extremely forgettable, I feel like, in like 2 years. But yeah, check it out. It's available to rent now. But if you're sick of all the cliches and tropes of disaster movies, check this out. Alright, I'm Scott Berger, and I'll see you next time.